So wait, someone just asked in chat whether I see chat or hear anything? I I think there are people here who think I'm an AI. Hi, I'm not an AI.
Oh, there's no way. Guys, I'm just testing my new model. Upgrades to Neuro coming soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've done a really good job. It's cool how you made this one stupid.
Why isn't this one as smart? No, no.
I do
I
think
don't
that
think so.
Neuro could probably beat me at chess.
A chess? No, she's like 1500.
Wait,
If
really?
that. If that. No, she starts off 1500 and then end game she's like 800. So
Wait, I had no idea, dude. I don't know why. I just assumed that like that would just be like baked in. Like you'd get that for free.
what, like expert chess performance?
Yeah, like I just figured there's like enough resources about all that I don't know.
No, no. If you ask ChatGPT to play chess with you, it will suck. It's terrible
I've
at it.
never done that. I've never been
Yeah,
that particular kind of lonely.
I don't recommend you do, but I'm just saying if you wanted to, it does not know how to play chess. It's quite bad at it. I mean,
That's
it's
so
literally,
funny.
as far as I'm aware, the entire like, there's been a lot of research into like, oh, LLMs playing chess, and why can't ChatGPT play chess if it's so smart, and why can this, why can that?
Well,
As
that
far as
is
I'm
the
aware, all
only
it comes
measure
down
of
to
intelligence, so
being able to play chess, absolutely.
yeah.
As far as I'm aware, though, all it comes down to is whether the AI was trained on actual chess games, like a lot of chess games. Because there are some pretty small LLMs
Mm-hmm.
that were trained on a fuck ton of chess games, and they're really good at chess. But ChatGPT, when it's RLHF, isn't trained on chess games, so it's
Whoa.
bad at them. So
Really? Not at all? I just kind of assumed in the
it,
bundle of all
no,
data
it
on the
is, it
internet.
is, it is in pre-training. It is, and I believe um, that they do some. They do have chess data sets that they use OpenAI, and it's it used to be. I don't know if it still is because OpenAI is pretty secret, but it used to be part of their post-training kit as well. Was they used to use chess games? I think. If it wasn't part of also pre-training, but at some point in the pipeline, it just loses the ability to.
Hmm. That's so interesting. The idea of getting worse at chess as you know more information.
I believe it's because so like if you imagine being trained on chess games in like
Vedal
chess
there is a
notation or something,
problem
right?
with Ellie's
Yeah.
AI.
And then at some point when the models go through post training RLHF, they're obviously trained to answer in a very different format. But I actually don't know why. But yeah, it just seems to just lose the ability to play chess. I actually
That's
don't know why.
so interesting. I would never
Yeah,
have
maybe
guessed
it's different
that.
these days. It might be different with newer models,
Mm-hmm.
but that's how it used to be at least.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Well, honestly, that gives me a lot of confidence.
you could probably beat her, yeah, which is a shame. But
What? That's a shame!
yeah, it is. I'd like to see Nero beat you at chess. I'm sorry for that.
Why? Is it just that you'd like to
I
see me lose at chess, or you'd like to see her
No,
win?
it's not that I'd like to see her beat you at chess. That would make me feel accomplished.
Okay, okay, I see.
I think that's pretty reasonable.
I can
But
throw the game
I
if you
can
want.
just
I could do that. If your
no,
ego
no,
is
no, no,
ever
no,
too
no,
bruised, if you're
no,
ever
no, no,
feeling too
no.
low,
That makes
I'll
my
just
ego
go
more
in there and
bruised.
throw that game.
No, it's only it only counts if it's a fair fight. Um, but I may be
We
able
could
to
drink again
upgrade.
first.
That's cheating. She'll beat you fair and square someday. Maybe not right now though, which is too
Mm.
bad. But I will say part of the way LLMs sort of work, right?
Mm-hmm.
To an extent, they can't help but mimic, um, what they've seen before in their prompts, just as a sort of general uh, consequence of the way they're trained. So I think Neuro and Evil perform better when they're playing against good players. Like
Mm-hmm.
if they're playing against players that are making like blunders left and right and they're playing bad, they, I think, are more likely to also sort of copy that behavior in a way.
That's
Um,
fascinating.
yeah. So if she's playing against good players, I think she usually plays better, but there's still a limit on that, right?
I also kind of wonder how the way that you talked to her while you were doing it would affect it.
Same way. Well,
Right?
to an extent, yeah. But that situation also applies to like most other things. Like the way you talk
Mhm.
to her matters a lot. Um, yeah.
How long do you think it would take you to make a new neuro from scratch?
Oh, please don't make me do that.
No, I wouldn't.
Um,
But just like out of curiosity, like how long do you think it would take to just like reproduce all of that?
I can't. Um, I would never be able to make her the exact same as she is right
No, of
now.
course not.
To make something pretty equivalent,
Mhm.
um, it'd be miserable. I'll tell you that much. But depends what resources I had access to. If I had access to like the resources I have access to right now,
Yeah,
um, yeah, it'd take a while.
9
Definitely take
months?
a while. um, I don't know. I really don't know. Um, and I don't want to consider it because that would be a lot of work
Yeah.
that I do not wish to do.
No, I imagine you have them backed up somewhere.
Yeah, I do.
The idea of just like, well, my computer died, so
Oh, computer died. Sorry, guys. They're
gotta
actually
gotta make
dead and they're
Neuro
never
2
coming
real
back.
quick.
Yep, that would be unfortunate.
Yeah.
Um, luckily, I'm pretty careful with that stuff.
I'm glad.
Relatively,
How careful
you
are
know,
you, genuinely? Like do you have a ton of security around it? How much does it worry you?
I got security around it.
Mhm.
Obviously, yeah, but in terms of, I'm not that careful. You know, it is there is a universe in which I lose a lot of progress on Euro. Okay,
Yeah.
it's gonna take several fires, several hacks, but it's possible. You know,
Yeah.
and I like to leave a little bit up to chance as well. You know, it's like if the universe wants to kill Nero, fuck it. You know, who am I to stop it?
Reasonable.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't.
I also hope that doesn't happen because that would be a large blow to my company financials.
Your company financials.
I
Dude, I'm pretty sure
don't
you
know.
could live off of what you made this subathon for the next like 4 years.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
That's more than enough time to make a new one.
It is, you're right. And it'd likely be better by then because of advancements in AI.
That's true, yeah. I mean, also, how much faster do you think it would be? Not just because not just because you've done it before, but because there's more available. Like there's so much more off the shelf stuff than there was when you started.
Oh, yeah, faster, for sure. Um, yeah. It would be faster and it'd be better.
Yeah, I mean, there would probably be advantages too from just like starting from a better spot. How much of the original Neuro is in Neuro? Is any of it?
Yeah, actually a fair amount.
That's
Um,
crazy.
yeah, it is. I mean, because I don't really want her to lose like what that original authentic neuro, you know?
That's the thing that I think is most impressive. Genuinely, the most impressive thing that you've done is like she is still one consistent character.
To a large extent, yeah. There's a lot of people that I would probably disagree with you because her behavior does change a little bit over time.
Yeah, every time it changes
I,
a
s-
little, but
I
she's
still like to
still
think that she's neuro.
yeah, she
Yeah.
still has like a core sort of behavior that's pretty consistent. I don't know, but I suspect based on the other AIs, VTuber AIs that I've seen, it's not some like emergent property of the currently available tech. Like that's just her. The things that are
Hmm.
consistent about her behavior are just her.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
When you
Um,
upgrade her, do you train her on her old behavior?
When I upgraded it. How is this? When I upgrade her.
Sorry, you don't have to answer. If anything I ask is too
No, it's
much,
okay.
you can just not.
I'm just trying to think of the best way of answering it. It's a complicated process.
Mhm. Yeah, it's the fun of watching her grow up. It really does feel like we've watched her grow up quite a bit.
Yeah, it is. It is cool like that. And I hope that's one of the appeals of Neuro, because like
Mhm.
even in just like this last year and the year before or whatever,
Yeah.
I she has uh improved, changed a lot, and I think that's always cool to see. Cool to see. Like one of the original appeals with the um OSU I did
Mhm.
back in the day in like 2019. Like I think the reason why people watched it and what was cool, other than like the novelty of cool AI that plays OSU,
Yeah.
was it got better over time.
Yeah.
And it's always cool to see AI learn and progress.
The
And
improvement this year was insane. I mean, she
yeah,
is really conversational now in a way that she just wasn't before.
she is. She has her moments though where like she'll act stupid and stuff. And so like
Mhm.
consistency is definitely something I want to get a lot better. And I think I have an idea on how to fix that as well, which I'll do at some point during the break. But
And she'll do some reversals sometimes where it's clear that her memory is like remembering pieces of something but not what she said about it before. And so she'll stay on a consistent topic, but she won't have a consistent viewpoint on it.
yep, yep. She definitely does have, I guess, faults in that
Mhm.
respect. But she's a lot better than she was a year ago. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No,
Um,
it's insane, dude. I mean, I think that the memory stuff you did was like the biggest difference for me. Like that changed completely what it was like to watch her, especially play games. Because she can hold on to a goal in a game now.
yeah, for a little while before her ADHD brain kicks in and starts getting distracted by coal ore in the underground or something. But yeah, that has helped a lot.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of improvements to be made within that as well. Just one of the biggest hurdles I have. You're not gonna believe
What's.
this.
Yeah.
Latency.
I. You're such a
For her to
dork.
retain, for her to retain and have so much memory and information and process it all with regards to new information each time
Mhm.
takes a little bit of computation and
Yeah.
takes time. And then obviously in real time voice conversations, then yeah, like if I had no constraints
Mhm.
on time for her to respond with,
Yeah.
she would be smarter and she would have a better memory.
I mean,
Um,
obviously.
it's just kind of sucked that I have to make some concessions for that. But
I think she could be slower than she is. I know that you don't.
um, it depends because sometimes she's quite good at it, sometimes she isn't though. Like it really falls apart. Have you seen any of the times where she's been like playing Minecraft
Oh, yeah, I've been watching.
with everyone in the big calls recently?
Yeah, while
And
I
it's a lot of
work.
people in the call, and she's trying to play Minecraft as well.
Mhm.
Then she does really struggle
Well,
then.
it's a lot of
Um,
information to process, right? That's more than just a conversation's worth.
yes, and she also has to play Minecraft at the same time, which is, but it's times like that where like if the latency was just like half of what it was, then like I could do a lot more.
I mean, humans don't take the same amount of time to respond to every question, right? It would be possible
Yep,
to have her,
sure,
pause and think about something
it
sometimes
would.
and not other times. Although I think that would
Yeah.
have to be like a separate model. That would be brutal.
Uh, I mean, I'm not sure how up to date you are with LMs, but like that, the more recent LMs, that's what they do. The quote unquote reasoning LMs is they take a variable amount of time to think about
So would you just be
their
using
answers.
one off the shelf, or would you be like
No,
building
no,
something to
no,
act as basically a load balancer and deciding how long each thing should take?
neither. So, like for example, if you're asked a question, you don't think, okay, I'm going to spend 10 seconds thinking about this, right? You think about it, and then once you've arrived at the answer, then you'll respond. Or if it takes too
Mhm.
long, right? Um, so it's the same thing. So at some point, it's very feasible that Neuro turns into a model like that,
Mhm.
where there's like thought before she thinks, sorry, before she speaks. Um,
Man,
it would just
I'm
be
not
like,
even there. She's gonna beat me to it.
well, most of the time maybe there doesn't need to be, but like in some cases maybe she would choose to take that time to think. But that's a very difficult problem for Neuro, especially because it's super hard to. The way those models are trained with reinforcement learning is good when there are problems where there's a very specific output that you can use to model like a reward function. But
Yeah.
with Neuro, a little more difficult to define good reward functions.
There's not really a distinct success state.
No, there are not.
And you
There's,
can't just go off of like interaction and engagement because that could really skew towards stuff that makes people spam stuff, which could get old fast.
Absolutely, yeah.
So how do you do that? It never occurred to me before, but like, how do you measure, like, how do you do that?
Vibes.
Just fine.
More or less. This is a much more complicated process, but vibes.
Do you score things like manually ever?
Vibes.
Vibes. I see.
Vibes. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it is a complicated process. But the other issue with with those reasoning models and taking time to think before you speak, this currently the speed of those models, they are slow. Like the new models, they'll take minutes sometimes to think, and obviously Neuro can't spend minutes thinking before she responds. We don't have that kind of
I don't know. I think chat
latency budget.
Hey chat, you want to just watch her sit there and think on something for 2 minutes?
Thinks for 2 minutes, just respond with your mum. Yeah. It's something I would like to do in the future, but I'm just constrained by latency in that regard, which is what it is.
What kind of hardware do you have it running on at this point? I mean, is it?
Yeah.
It must be at least partially cloud-based, right?
That runs completely on vibes, my friend.
I see.
So, anyways, with stuff like the dog as well, it's extra hard with latency because if you think about human reaction time, like 250 milliseconds, right? It'd be nice to have something like that in the dog, but there's with current language models, it's not a whole lot of time. 250 milliseconds. It's very little time, actually.
Well, it's part of why we did it the way that we did, right? Because she can talk immediately, right? Like that runs through the model and it returns, and that's through a separate system. That doesn't go through like the part of her body that handles locomotion at all. And then she separately sends commands to the dog to move. So I think that if her movements are slightly delayed, that won't really be a problem. She does have to process a lot of visual information, but not as much as Minecraft.
So that's not how it's done with Minecraft, for example, at the moment.
How is it done with Minecraft?
She will decide what to do in the game before she speaks, which I think makes more sense because you want her to speak about what she's doing in the game, but if she starts speaking and then starts like if she's like well, I guess you could do it either way.
Yeah, I don't think it really matters that much. And I think this will give the illusion of lower latency than there really is.
No, I think you need to do the action first, I think.
Well, this would be why do you need to do the action first?
So obviously you could speak first. Or you could just maybe you don't. You don't have to, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm going over there works just as well as look where I am,
Well, it's still asynchronous.
Yeah.
So, like, if you say, I'm going over there, and then you choose to walk over there, versus you choose to walk over there, and then you say, I'm going over there, it still has a pretty similar result. Because at least you can talk and do something at the same time.
Yeah, but she can do.
But the order in which you decide to do those things, currently she chooses to act before she speaks, which is why in the case of like the big Minecraft collabs where she's silent, it's because she's thinking about what to act before she speaks, and there's a little bit of latency obviously associated with that, and so she'll take more time to respond because she has to decide what to do in the game before she decides what to say. And I guess you could probably speak first.
Yeah.
Probably, but there's a couple minor issues with it. But
okay, talk me through them.
You could. If you if you wrote out a transcript, okay, of you playing Minecraft, okay,
yeah,
right, and it says, I'm gonna mine this tree, and then it has like, let's say, a description of what you're doing in the game, right? Ellie is mining, or Ellie mines a tree or something. With my current setup,
yeah,
this is a little difficult to explain. This transcript, right? One thing follows another. So you speaking then follows the action in the game, versus the action in the game and you speaking. Now, if you expect the action in the game to occur and finish before the next line in the transcript, then that has an impact, and vice versa with the transcription as well. So if you expect the full sentence to be said before the action takes place, then you wouldn't be able to have that asynchronous.
Why would we expect that?
That just might be how it happens. Like, that just might be how the system expects it, you know? The system could expect it a different way, but, let's just talk about a theoretical world where the system expects it that way.
Okay, I see. Yeah, then that would be highly inconvenient for the way that we've planned this out.
It would be. But you could be right, though. You could be right. Maybe it doesn't need to be that way.
I don't know, man. I mean, it's up to you. It's your system, and I will build this to your specifications, but...
Talk, then do. No, you have an interesting point, though. Talk, then do.
I think that talk, then do works well in this system, because there isn't necessarily a defined endpoint for doing tasks in the real world the way that there is in games. Also, there isn't... how do I... I think that her interactions will take a longer time than they do in games.
Really depends how it's being done, to be honest with you. But I think in most cases, do then talk makes so much sense for Nero. Because like in the case of like Minecraft, right? If she's like, I want to chop down a tree, and then she talks, it's super easy for her to then commentate about it. It's like way easy to understand. Okay, I've just chosen to chop down a tree, now I will speak. Versus speaking, she might not decide to speak about anything Minecraft related and then, choose to do the action. In the case of Robodog, you might be onto something. I think it's slightly more difficult to understand for Neuro. Talk, then do.
That makes sense.
Honestly, maybe just having the option to talk, then do, or do, then talk is way better, because like...
How much infrastructure would that take? It seems like your system is pretty dependent on do, then talk.
Yeah, well, system can change, I guess.
No, I think we can make talk, then do work. Or do, then talk work. So...
Well, I'll see which one is going to be best, because, I do quite like my low latency, and talk then do is going to be lower latency. But that makes sense. She can't comment on actions she hasn't decided to do yet. Yeah, that's the thing. And like, it's simpler that way. Like, obviously, a human can. Yeah, no, it's simpler. I'm quite bad at explaining that one, but
I think that you're picturing there being a greater distance between these things, though, because like all she has to do from her side is give an objective, right, and then do it. It's not like she is like talking and doing can be done almost simultaneously from your perspective. She can decide an action to do, and then, right, she's just going to be sending commands while she's talking about doing it, right?
But she might not. It's easier for her to talk about what she's doing if she knows what she's going to be doing before she starts talking about it.
Well, she could decide what she's going to do before she talks, but
That's doing then talking, though, right?
I don't know. Because
It is in this case.
How complicated of tasks is she going to be deciding to do, right? It's mostly locomotion and entering and exiting states, right?
Don't worry about that. But you do raise a good point. And yeah, you are onto something there, something that I've been onto, and yeah.
Well, I'm glad you got there first.
Yeah, no, it's an excellent point. But